Hey there, welcome to Tennille Talks. So this message it's given me the energy of so close but so far away, a divine love story. And so this is a situation where love, eternal love, soulmate love, seems to be closer than it's ever been. And I say closer than it's ever been because maybe you two have crossed paths or been in each other's energy. And even though that you have shared space together, the distance that separates you are really the people, places, and things from the past, the mindsets, the habits, the behaviors of the past that don't allow the connection to come to fruition. Now, I do see a specific energy, so whether this is one person, a group of people, nonetheless, there is a third wheel enemy. And so this is like two people are together, but then either you or the other party has a person attached to you that is very much working to influence the trajectory of this connection. So I have taken notes. So we have third wheel enemy is heartbroken that your new beginnings, your new creations, and your fertile ground is protected. And so maybe in the past, if one party, either you or your other partner or somebody that you're interested in, maybe in the past when somebody started to step out and meet someone new, started to kind of sever the ties from their past, maybe that person from the past was always successful in getting them, the person that they were in a relationship with, to come back to them, to neglect or to abandon this new venture with this new person. So something about this third wheel enemy is giving me spiritual. And so what I say is that this person may do things in the spirit in order to sway or coax the person that they're connected to, the new person that may or may not enter your life, in order to coax them back, to get them away. But they have realized, they being the third wheel enemy, they have realized that there is a level of protection, whether it be with you or just surrounding the connection in general, that isn't giving them the same success or the same outcome. So this is like giving me bitter baby daddy, bitter ex-husband, bitter ex-wife, bitter baby mama. And I don't really like to use those terms all the time, but I'm just trying to give you an idea of somebody that doesn't want to release you out of fear that what you have next will be truly beautiful. And if this isn't happening to you, then you can be dealing with a person who has a person attached to them that is almost holding them back and not allowing them to step forward towards you. So it was and is a fated event for the old to be released as the seasons have changed. Okay? And so at this point, anything that someone is trying to do, they're truly messing with fate. Okay? And fate pretty much is saying, hey, there's no coincidence. This is happening because it was divinely time for this to happen. And so this connection is divinely chosen to take place. And there's no outside force outside the two of you that has the ability to control it. Now, if one or both of you succumb to the outside pressures, you can totally dismantle the connection. You have the ability to break it, but nothing outside of you can break what's divinely fated, okay? Now, you being you or the other person, you have successfully mastered yourself. You've mastered a cycle. You've mastered a phase. And this represents the end of an era. And so when we get to the point that we're starting to get in these divine friendships, these divine relationships, when we are finally starting to meet the people of our tribe, that's an indication that we have closed out a cycle. And say one of you could totally be outside of the old and standing in the new, and the other person can have one foot in and one foot out, moving towards you hopefully, but still not always is the timing going to be exact. okay? And so it really depends on the level of work that both parties have done to determine how quickly a union or a partnership has the ability to develop, okay? So your victory, your success, and your joyous existence has not only been illuminated to you, but to those with watchful eyes. So people can see now when you've leveled up, when you've changed, when you're growing, when you're ascending, those people that benefited from you being stuck in lower vibrations and stagnant, anybody that benefited from your stagnancy will probably be among some of the first people to realize when you have started to change and shift, right? Because what they once were able to do to you for their own benefit, it will become more challenging for them to continue to use or misuse you in the same way that they had done in the past. And as soon as some of those people or spirits recognize a shift in you, they grab harder, they cling harder, they fight more, right? Because they're realizing that they may actually have to let you go forever. And so this could be the final fight. This could be the final dispute. But nonetheless, whoever has benefited from you having an existence of stagnancy and lack is recognizing that something is shifting. And if you were endlessly giving to them, but now you have grown in a certain way, I feel like this energy is fearful of being cut off, of not having access to your resources, or whatever affluence you bring to the connection that you shared with them. And so now what happens is intentionally people begin to attack. They begin to attack. And so the attended attack on your new beginning has caused worry, confusion, and indecision to your opposition. And so out of fear, out of worry, people are attacking your growth, your abundance, your level up, your ascension, right? Because just because you grow, well, let me tell you, people are going to be mad for two reasons. When you grow, people are mad for one of two reasons. They're either mad that you grew and they didn't, or they're mad that you grew so much that you outgrew them, right? And so this is what causes people to kind of lash out. Now you have been released from your karmic path. And so karma is not a bad thing. Karma just says, karma is energy. And because our entire existence is energy, any energy that we partake in or are a part of, we need to work through it until we have released ourselves from it. And so there was a certain amount of time that you were to spend on a karmic path in order to release an energy that you were still working through. And that's not good or bad, it just is. Now, it's always good because it contributes to the advancement of your soul. Now, you have completed something. You are released from this karmic path. You've paid your dues, so to speak, right? And these outside forces, whether it is old connections and lovers and spouses or family members, but these outside forces never really expected you to defend yourself or to take or for you to take action for the obstacles and challenges they sent your way. And so if somebody is able to verbally abuse you and get you to shut down and to be silent and to just get you kind of to become this robot that just does what they want and appeases them in any way that they see fit, but now all of a sudden you're talking back, or you're resisting, or you're choosing not to fight, or you're choosing not to respond back in a text, you're choosing not to call, you're choosing to just surrender. This is when people start to become angry, okay? And so people never expected you to retaliate, to defend yourself, to stand upright, to have a backbone, right? People are used to you kind of being this puppet, this rag doll that they can just walk all over and use for their own satisfaction. And so the fact that you are beginning to fight back, this is definitely a problem. Now, if this is not your situation, this can be the reality or the situation of the person that you may have interest in, either now or in the future, or this could be their story as they make their way to you. Okay. So this person, this third party enemy, now this could be a group of people, it could be one people, it doesn't matter. But the third party enemy is worried about what you do in privacy. And so now they feel like they need to have eyes on you at all times, right? Because in front of them, they don't see you doing anything, but they recognize a shift in your demeanor. And so they're realizing that there's something that you are doing when they are not in your presence that is causing you to power up, so to speak. And so now they want to know, what are you doing in private? They want to know what you're working on. They want to they can't see and they can't touch anything that you're doing, but they just want to know because they want to kill it. They want to pull it up at the root before it can grow anymore, right? And so this enemy is definitely threatened by your endurance, your stability, and your spiritual journey. And so they're losing control of you, right? And so I want you to know that as you close out these cycles and these eras and these phases, kind of like that the last, imagine if you're running a 400 meter, right? And that's one lap around the track. When you get to that last straightaway, that is sometimes the hardest part of the run. You're giving it everything you have, right? And this is where you pick up speed. This is where you pick up strength and stamina. This is where you dig in. And any distance that you gave away, any lead that you lost, this is your chance to get it back. And so the last steps that it will take you to get to the finish line are going to be some of the most gruesome. Right? Now, you are prepared for it because your preparation was in the first 300 meters, right? You prepared for this last 100 meter in the first 300. And so this is a mental game. Your body knows what to do. You've practiced, you've trained, but this is your mind believing that you deserve to get across that finish line. And so if people can hold you back, if people can convince you that you're not slow enough, that you'll never win, that you'll never make it, then you won't, right? And so this is about mental toughness. And the universe is mental. Every day of our life, it first happens in our mind, and then we kind of project it outwards. But nonetheless, you have access to the treasures that you stored up in your past life as soon as you leave this karmic cycle. And so people, entities, spirits, those what were meant to keep you stuck and stagnant, they understand how this works. As soon as you get to that finish line, you are going to be able to access who and what you were and what you had prior to you becoming kind of stuck in this karmic cycle, right? So now that you've purged everything, now you can get back to the divinity that you were sent here to accomplish and to achieve. You've got rid of all the icky stuff, and now you can get back onto your spiritual grind. And so what's waiting for you on the other side, whether you recognize it or not, it doesn't matter because they understand it. And so anything that can be done to stop you from crossing, it will be done. Just anticipate that, right? And so there are levels and there are ways to protect yourself spiritually so that you don't lose your mental toughness as you go through this last phase or cycle or final push, right? And so what's on the other side of you? It could be love. It could be a connection. And so we'll get to it in a minute, but in this reading specifically, this is happening to a divine masculine. This is happening to a divine masculine. And so even if you are a female, in order for us to be in a situation with a divine counterpart, we have to rectify the energies of our divine feminine and our divine masculine. We have to marry them and unite them inside of our own vessel before we can attract our counterpart in the physical world. So when I say divine masculine, that doesn't mean that you have to be a man. It doesn't mean you have to be a masculine. It doesn't mean that you have to have a penis as a sex organ for this to be your story. It just means that the energies, we are all both. We have gender manifest on all planes, right? And so we have energy that is feminine and we have energy that is masculine. And we have to bring both into balance, which is why the karmic path is so important, because that's the intention of the path, is to help us to restore our own balance. So you are coming into balance with your divine masculinity that lies within, or there's a divine masculine in your life that is doing this in their life, and you have already left that phase, or you've been through this era, and so you are almost like a spectator watching this happen. And it's very important not to interrupt, not to intercede, not to if you truly have to be a spectator, right? Because you don't want to interrupt anybody's growth or their struggles. And you don't want to put timestamps, and you don't want to put boundaries and stipulations on somebody living their own life. Like that's just not your right to do. These journeys are so much bigger than what we think we want another person to do for us or with us. It's not about us, it's truly not about us. And so every journey is unique, and every journey has to unfold in a certain way. And I think that once we master a level of divinity in ourselves, it will look more like detachment, right? When we're talking about the Eightfold Path and reaching nirvana, everybody in this life is going to experience some sort of suffering. There's no way around suffering. But what can bring you peace and solace amidst the suffering is being able to detach from what you want, from the things that you think you desire. So detaching from all those desires, it allows you to surrender to the existence and to just say what happens, happens. Now that is so easy to say, but obviously it is very hard to do. Because life is marketed to us in the matrix to look and feel a certain way, right? Life has set up, the matrix has set life up to have certain timelines and milestones and achievements. And, it tells you, it's like having a mile marker. At the age 20, you should do this. At 25, it's this. At 30, it's this. At 30, literally from birth to death, we are measured by milestones. And so that creates the attachment, because we want to achieve, we want to have success. And so that's a part of what keeps us stuck and trapped inside of this system. And so the idea is to elevate and to surrender and to detach from all of those, imposed sanctions of what life should look like for us. I'm going to move on to the next part. So this third party, this is somebody that's not trustworthy, okay? Now, whether this is, again, somebody that you've dealt with or somebody that you're watching with, but this is somebody who, when they had the opportunity to be in the life of this person, they were dishonest, okay? But nonetheless, this person is doing prayers, they're doing spells, and they're doing libations. So now we're getting into the spiritual work. So not only are they actively challenging potentially the divine masculine, and campaigning for what they want, I'm just going to say his to help with the storyline. Not only are they campaigning with what they want his life to look like, but then they're moving against his will in the spirit world to get the outcome that they want, right? And so they're doing all of these attacks in order to get, now this is the part that came up for me, unexpected income. And so you could have, okay, you're single, you meet a guy who's single, you're in a relationship, but the guy has an ex-girlfriend, ex-wife, mother of their child, that has the ability to call on him at any time and to tap his pockets for money. You understand? And so part of the control of this man is being to have access to his assets, even if you are not in a relationship with him. And so the fear could be, well, if you move on and if you're balanced and if you have a backbone and you're no longer a doormat, you may actually tell me no. You may actually cut me off from being able to get money and resources and finances from you whenever I feel like it. And so that was one of the things that came up. This person feels like their finances are being attacked by the growth of this divine masculine. Well, if you grow, it's going to fuck up my money, which really was never their money. It was always his money, but the lack of boundaries that he had in his life, it almost felt like their finances were shared, right? So we're going to call this enemy, this third world party, we'll just say op. So this op, wanted to negatively impact the self-esteem and the gifts that this masculine possesses in his soul. So this is where people will start to attack your core. This is where they will start to attack your character. One of the most challenging relationships I've had in my life, it was with my ex-husband. And he never physically put his hands on me. But when I tell y'all, the words he spoke to me, they felt like I was being bludgeoned, right? It was the things that he decided to say, the things he decided to accuse me of. It was the attacking of my character. And it felt like the greatest betrayal, right? Because, you know who you are and you know who you're not. And so when people intentionally paint you to be something that you're not, and when the people that are doing it is someone that you actually loved, it is like, they are killing you. They are intentionally killing you. And the thing about a word is, if someone was to literally hit you with an object, you would see a wound, a cut, or a bruise. And then it heals and it becomes a scar. And you may be able to see it years later, or you may not even be able to locate the spot where the physical attack happened. But there's something about words, because we are spiritual beings having a physical existence, because we are energetic beings, once you speak something, it exists forever. Right? And so you cannot always see the wound that your words have created in the core, the spirit, and in the character or of another. And there's just something about people that speak hate, right? And it hurts deep when it's someone that you have loved, when it's someone that you have laid down with, when it's someone that you have had children with. Right? Because how do you defend yourself against that person? It's easy to brush off a random, a stranger, somebody you don't know that misreads you, but somebody that you have shared deep levels of intimacy with. It just hits different. It hits different. And those words can live on, right? And you can hear them echoing for years, for decades, almost to the point where it's almost like it was just spoken to you. It feels fresh. And so a physical wound kind of has like a timeline attached to it, based on how the physical body regenerates itself, that tells you when it is most likely to heal. But that is not true for words that are spoken over you. Words are curses. Words are spells. And I want you to know that that is spell work. When people speak hateful things to you, and then they communicate those same hateful things to other people about you, that person is casting spells over your life. They are impacting the energy that surrounds your very existence. And not only are they speaking it into your soul and into your spirit, but they're speaking it about your character into the souls, the minds, the hearts, and the spirits of others that potentially could be in your life to love and support you. But now they've tainted that connection. A spell has been cast over you. Y'all, that's real. That's real. That's real. That's real. And what is the scripture? The power of the tongue has the ability to bring life or death. And that is true. Who wants a partner that speaks death over you? Wouldn't you rather have a partner that speaks life into you, that builds you up, that nurtures you, just with the sound of their voice, just with the movement of their tongue? They've decided to give you life as opposed to death. And so that is one of the weapons of mass destruction that this third party typically likes to use. A sick tongue, a poisonous tongue, right? And so this Emperor, Divine Masculine, the card that I actually had the card come out that said Divine Masculine. So this Emperor has a new beginning in love, a new beginning in finances. Listen, if you have a new beginning in love, I want you to also know you have a new beginning in finances. If your heart is growing with love, your pockets will grow with finances, because it is a power. It is a power that will be projected out into life, and it is an energy that keeps on growing and nurturing and bringing abundance to you. Okay. And so the new beginning in love and finances and self-improvement, this third wheel truly feels threatened by. In this new connection or friendship that this Divine Masculine has, as we said, it was fated. There was no coincidence that this friendship is established. Now, this cycle has caused this Divine Masculine to do a lot of toiling and laboring behind the scenes to fight off indecision. And so one of the things about crossing paths with a divine being, so let's say that this friendship that was fated for this Divine Masculine to have is actually with a divine being, possibly an earth angel, a high priestess, but it's with a light one. We'll say a light one. And we all know in order to become a light one, we had to overcome being a dark one. Okay, so this is somebody that did the work and they got the t-shirt, the bumper sticker, the mug, the lanyard to prove it, right? This is somebody with wisdom, not just knowledge, but this is somebody that says, this is what I did, this is what I know, and this is the evidence I have to show how far I've come. Now, this cycle, just crossing paths with certain people in your life, are going to almost turn on a light switch. They're going to wake you up. And certain people are supposed to wake you up and create a spark in a certain way. And so specifically for this one, it seems like it's love, a new beginning in love. And you can't love anybody else more than you love yourself. And so this really is a self-love journey. And so the more that the Divine Masculine decides to love himself, it's going to impact those relationships where he was not allowed to love himself, or where the love was superficial. It was based on material, right? This new connection, it's satisfying, and it allows the Divine Masculine to sleep peacefully and to just be comfortable in his own existence. The pathway forward with this friendship or with this connection that has entered into his life, it seems simple, it seems light, and it seems free of resistance. Right? If you have been in a relationship and you guys have fought your entire journey together, think about the weight of that type of experience and what it does to your heart, your mind, your spirit, your body, your soul. Think about all the memories and the lack of quality that those memories have. And then the fact that you have to carry those as a part of who you identify as long as you are opposite that person. And so the biggest challenge for this Divine Masculine is recognizing that without making a change to this karmic path, nothing will move and nothing will grow. And so this is that point, I know the direction that I want to go. I know what I have to do, but can I do it? So this is what separates those that have the knowledge and those that has the wisdom. Because now everything that the Divine Masculine knows is right to do, now he has to actually apply it. And so how do you, because this has never, I shouldn't say never, but because this is not something that he would routinely do, it's almost like he lacks the muscle memory. His muscles don't know how. His mental muscles, his heart muscles, he doesn't really know how to do what he's never done. right? And so in order to build up the muscle memory, in order to get comfortable with self-love, you got to take the first step. And so it seems like you're at the point where you're either doing this yourself or you're watching another do this, but you're watching them walk for the first time. And this is like that little baby, that 1-year-old or however old, getting ready to take the first step, right? And so you will have people who will push him down. He'll stand up for the first time and they'll shove him down. Remember, you don't have to touch him to shove him down. You can just speak something inside of his soul that makes him collapse and doubt himself, right? Or you will have people physically shove him down, right? And then you have this friend who says, oh no, it's okay. You got it. Get back up. You got it. Don't worry. Don't worry. Like, this time let's try to step this way, or maybe considering it right. Then you have that friend that speaks life, which is why you are such a threat to anybody that was benefiting off of his weakness. Because when you come in and you start pouring and nurturing and building him up, he's going to see a side of him that not only he has never seen, but those that have been his company for the past years, they haven't seen this either. And so the false person that's been projecting harm and injury and danger towards not the divine masculine, but towards this outside party, is also a part of this past life experience. So this is what I'm getting, that this connection in time, what's happening right now, the people that we cross paths with in this life are people that were a part of our story and previous existences. And so we all decide to come back and to play a role or a character that will advance us, that will trigger us to do something different than we've done before. And so this trio, you, the divine masculine, and the third party op, you've done this before, right? And the way it's happening now is how you all planned for it to happen. And it's almost like the divine masculine has an angel and a demon, but on opposite shoulders. And so the op is the demon, and the friend, the divine friend, is on the other shoulder. And his ability to move is dependent upon which voice he wants to hear the loudest, which voice he decides to silence, which voice, you know what I mean? And so that's the image that I'm getting from this. And so the false person is worried about the protective energy that surrounds this new person. And so, this person that's in the life of the divine masculine may not know you at all, but something about the fact that you have not walked away and quit and abandoned him makes that person feel like it's different this time. There's something special about you, because of the level of conviction that is seen in him. The fact that he's not willing to revert back to normal, okay? And so it's the purity of the person in the divine masculine's life that is unlike anything that this third wheel energy was expecting or anticipating. And so no matter what happens next, you never know how long you're supposed to be in someone's life. It could just be for a season, 3 months, 4 months. It could be for 3 or 4 decades. It could be until you take your last breath. But nonetheless, we all have some sort of lesson plan that we are following. Okay? We're all following a divine lesson plan, a divine agenda. And so everybody is playing their part. And the outcome of this situation is always going to be successful because it was God's will. It was God's will. And so this divine masculine is having new ideas and new inspirations, and he wants to focus on gifts in the exchanges of love. And so this may have been, a masculine who is afraid of love or being vulnerable, not even thinking that he had the ability to receive love. You never know what the relationship that people have with love in their past, but this is somebody that now wants to kind of play around with the idea of love and what it feels like and how to give it and how to receive it, right? It's like getting a new superpower and you just want to know how to use it. Like, how does this work? Like, I haven't felt this way before. And it can be kind of scary. But the new energy that this divine masculine is experiencing is actually a form of justice for the stagnancy and the lack of growth that he endured with this woman. And we can say that this is a matured woman. This is a woman that has been in his life for seasons. So when we're talking about mature woman, we're not necessarily talking about age, but the connection between this woman and the masculine, it is one that has matured. Maybe it hasn't grown, but it has chronologically matured. And so the divine masculine essentially wants to expand his consciousness and his awareness. You know, he's endured a standstill. And he, up until this point, has traded off love. He's gone without love in hopes of gaining other things. And maybe those things were material, right? And so at this point, this is like when you start to realize, you know, that materials are not, they may attract people, right? A certain kind of home, certain kind of attire, shoes, job, car, all of those things may attract people to you, but the people that are drawn to you for materials most likely are not going to be the people that just love you for you. They only came because of what they saw you had. And in the moment that you don't have anything, those are the same people that will walk away. But people that come to you for who you are at your core are going to stay with you through and through because they were only ever really there for you. And so this is the story of so close but so far away, a divine love story, or a divine connection, or a divine friendship. So whatever character or role you play or have played, this could be a past experience for you, and you're, you know, learning how to kind of make sense of it if you have moved on from it. Or this could be something that you're walking into and you are just reminded to offer grace and compassion, right, for the journeys that other people are on. And we should never judge another person's journey because we've never walked a day in their shoes. And so the journey that people walk is tailored to every experience that they have lived. And because we have not lived every experience with them, that's when we employ grace. That's when we employ compassion and empathy. Thank you so much for coming to Tennille Talks. I'll see you on the next one.